Chapter 19. Littagale. The End of the Adventure. While Tor raged around the lair in his solo mock battle, Casper hurried over to Littagale. She smiled at him and sat up, dusting off her grimy hands. Casper knelt beside her and looked her up and down like he was inspecting for injuries. She'd never seen him this worried. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm fine. I must have hit my head, but I woke up as Tor was flying into the lair." She smiled back at him. "Sorry for all the theatrics, but when those princes showed up..." Casper let out a sigh of relief. "What happened to you?" "After you left to find Ingeborg, I started digging my way out of the prison cell," she told him. "Turns out the ground was pretty soft, so I dug a tunnel up to the surface outside the castle walls. I just made it out when the whole castle started coming down. I ran into the field to avoid getting hit, but a rock got me." She patted a sore spot on her head. Casper took her hand. "I'm so sorry I couldn't save you." "At least you tried." Then she looked to where Tor was throwing himself around the cavern and making enough noise to put on a grand show for the princes listening outside. "And you're doing an excellent job of saving me right now." Casper laughed and looked over at the dragon. Then he remembered something and fished into his jerkin pocket. When he pulled his hand out again, he had her ring. He held it for her to slip on and said, "Will you... Rats! I'm asking you to marry me with your own ring. I just realized how lame that is. I'm not that cheap, I swear. I really should have bought something." Littagale laughed and stretched out her finger. Casper took her hand and slid the ring on. Immediately, the stone started glowing bright, radiant purple. Casper made a face as he looked down at the ring. "What does purple mean?" She smiled. "I wondered about that too, but I think I figured it out." She reached for his face. "It means I'm in love. Of course I'll marry you." Casper smiled back at her and leaned in to give her a kiss. "Yes!" exclaimed a happy, chipper little voice. Littagale stopped kissing Casper and looked over to see Sophia holding Lucky. It was hard to tell which of them had made the happy remark. Then Littagale saw her stepmother come to stand beside Sophia, tears of joy in her eyes. Casper helped Littagale off the floor, and together they hurried to stand in a happy circle with Mattea and Sophie. Tor still thrashed around the lair, so they were careful to stay clear. Mattea hugged Littagale and whispered, "I'm so proud of you." Littagale laughed. "For what? Saying yes?" Mattea looked at her and smoothed back a piece of Littagale's hair. "For standing up for yourself and being true to yourself, which I realize sounds cheesy, but it's important. This whole adventure, you've impressed me at every turn." "Thanks, Mom." Littagale smiled back. Finally, with a great roar, Tor thudded down on the floor of the cavern.
"I surrender. Just take her and go."
Mattea smiled at Littagale and whispered, "Go. Sophia and I will stay here until the princes leave. I promised Tor I'd make him pork kebabs." "What?" cried Littagale. "Mom, that's... mean. After all he's done for us." Mattea crossed her arms. In a loud whisper, she insisted, "Is this about my cooking again? It can't be that bad. Tor loves my cooking. That's what I did for him as payment when I stayed here. Tor, tell them." Tor lifted his head from playing dead and agreed quickly.
"Your mother is the best cook I've ever had the privilege to know."
Mattea looked satisfied. She smiled at Littagale and then turned to lead Sophia into the princess cave. Sophia shrugged and hurried to follow. Lucky hopped along behind them. Littagale looked at Casper, and together they walked to Tor's giant face. Littagale bent over to kiss his scaly nose. "Thank you for a wonderful adventure," she whispered. Tor winked at her.
"You are my 115th princess, Littagale, and I have to say, you're one of my favorites. Come back and visit any time."
He glanced back at the princess cave.
"And don't tell your mother, but she really is a terrible cook."
Littagale chuckled and motioned that her lips were sealed. Then she smiled at Casper, took his hand, and walked out of the dragon's lair.